Hey, you guys, how are you going? So, I'm talking really low because my husband is sleeping, but I'm not in my feelings, but I'm in my feelings, right? Because I am like, y'all don't know what's been going on with my stomach situation besides this here. But, I am almost 9 months pregnant. It's January 7th, 2020. I am almost 9 months pregnant. And my husband, y'all, like, he said to me this morning, he was like, and it, y'all, this is, okay. So he said to me this morning, he said, Crystal, now, one thing I've never liked that my husband does is call me by my first name. Like, because since we've been together since teenagers, he's called me Bay, right? So that's kind of like my first name when he's calling me. But he has these times lately as we get older, I guess, where he'll call me Crystal. And when he says my name, he says it so stern that it kind of bothers me. So, and then I know he's going to talk about something, or tell me something that I probably don't want to hear. So he says, Crystal. And he was like, I've been wanting to say this to you for the past couple of days. But he was like, you need to dress a little bit better. I was like, first of all, who you talking? No, I'm just playing. I wanted to get in my feelings like ASAP. But I listened to him and I stopped and I, was listening to him and thought about, what he was saying as he was saying it to me. But he was like, you need to dress better. You need to work on your appearance. You need to, he was like, and the girls and the way they be dressing and their hair and stuff like this. And so, I sat there and I listened. And at first, like, I wanted to get upset because I'm like, boy, he knows that this pregnancy has been tough for me. And from the moment I found out I was pregnant in June last year, like, the pregnancy just wrecked me, y'all. I think appearance-wise, this has the worst that I've ever been appearance-wise. Like, I just didn't care. And for you moms that know out there that's been pregnant before, or you've been sick, I have never been sick or had like a really hard pregnancy. But this one, and the time that it came in our lives, and just, it was hard. And I was really sick the first 3 months of the pregnancy, so that took me out. And then a couple months, leading up until I found out I was pregnant, like, I was already having like some health issues, but I just never went and got it checked out. So I knew it was my thyroids, but I just never went and dealt with it because my skin was like crazy. So on top of finding out I'm pregnant, plus, being really sick, like having morning sickness for the first time, this is my fourth baby, not, drinking much water. I didn't take vitamins probably until I was about 6 months, 7 months, maybe. Probably November. Yeah, so I was already about 7 months when I started finally taking vitamins. And, I will admit it was just rough. And then, like, we got personal things going on, we got kid things going on, like, just life. And it was pretty rough, trying to do just, you have that surprise when you don't want a surprise. So, when he told me that this morning that I needed to dress better, like I wanted to be in my feelings because I wanted to be like, this pregnancy been tough on me. It's been a lot. My body has been aching. Like my body just did not take this pregnancy well. And he knows that. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm entitled to look the way that I want to look. And in all honesty, like I've been looking so sloppy this pregnancy, like sweats and t-shirts has been my life. And if my hair ain't together, it just ain't together. I muster up enough strength to do what I need to do, pretty much. So, I don't know. I didn't start drinking a lot of water, like water, until my doctor told me, I think in December or last part of November, that, I was telling him about some pain I was having. And he was like, oh, you need to drink more water because the onset of contractions and Braxton Hicks and all of that stuff can be worse if you don't get enough water. So it's like in the last month, I've been trying to recoup for all of the last 6 months of not, taking vitamins and doing things that I needed to do for this pregnancy. And it just took me out. So he said that to me, but it was like I already knew that my appearance sucked, right? This is the first pregnancy where, like, even my face, I got that pregnancy face. Like, y'all, it's just funny. So I wanted to get upset with him, but at the end of the day, it's like I knew it was the truth because I had other, people tell me, women that love me, obviously, to, come to me and say, you got to get yourself together, girl, because you're looking a mess. Like, I just didn't care. Like, I would wear a raggedy wig, I would throw on clothes, and that's that. Like, I didn't put any effort into my appearance. Even, look at me right now. I have on a t-shirt that my husband says I wear 3 or 4 times a week, and sweats, and a hat because I just threw out, I just took out some hair that was irritating the heck out of me last night. Cut a patch of my hair out last night, which was like crazy. So my hair is like braided up and I got this purple thing, and I don't, and in all honesty, I could say financially that, we've been very tight whole 2019. So I had tended to put me last. And that is one regret that I did have being pregnant, which I think I'll talk about this more, is that I definitely put myself last because from the beginning of my pregnancy and being sick, I should have known that my well-being should have been the first thing that is always taken care of. Because I was so sick, because we were just going through things personally, I was always tired. Like my body, it's just like cannot carry this child. So I'm even in a phase right now where like I could barely walk. Like I was supposed to go grocery shop this morning, and then I text my husband. I told him like I'm not going because I cannot walk through the store, and that's just how it's been. But I know maybe if I had taken better care of myself from the beginning, then right now I wouldn't be suffering so much, I guess. So that is one thing that I regret, and one thing I can say to you moms, or moms for sure, or wives. Well, my channel is intended for wives slash moms, because that's who I am. Is that it doesn't matter what you're going through, no matter how tough it is, take care of yourself. And, I did that for so many years that it had become normal for me that I will put myself last. I will make sure the kids have, I will make sure the house is good. I will make sure, you know, my husband was happy, if I could make him happy. Just trying to hold the house together, trying to hold everything together, that until I couldn't hold myself together. And when you're not taking care of yourself, which I always say, you can't pour from an empty cup. Being pregnant and pouring from an empty cup was very hard. And that is definitely a regret that I have for these past, 8 months, is that I didn't take better care of myself. So for my husband to say, you need to work on your appearance while I'm in the home stretch, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, my girls, of course, I can get their hair done and dress them better and stuff like that. But I'm like, what do you want me to do for myself? Because I don't care. But obviously, it matters to him if he's saying something, and he's probably been feeling this way. But the fact that he took, most of the pregnancy to even say, today is January 7th, the baby is due February 28th. And I don't think we're going to make it to the 28th. I think she's going to come early. So, for him to wait until this time in the pregnancy and say, work on your appearance, it kind of sucks, because it's like, maybe this is something that has been bothering you and you just never said anything, and I know as a wife, like, and even as a role, an example to my girls, because he said that too. I think that's what tipped it off, is the fact that he said, keep yourself together. You have girls and they're looking at you too, in the way you carry yourself. And I'm like, that is so true. And I'm like, my 3-year-old puts on more makeup than I do. Y'all. My girls make sure they are dressed, they look cute. And I'm just like, I'm your cheerleader right now. And I tell them all the time, like, you look cute, girl. But they'll tell me from time to time when I dress a little better, got my hair, they're like, you look cute, mom. So that's important too. And when he said that, he was like, you got girls, we're finna have another girl. And I was watching Lois Evans. If you're not familiar with Tony Evans, he's a pastor. I mean, awesome pastor. He has a church in think in Texas, Dallas, Texas. But Tony Evans is the bomb. My husband loves him. I love his sermons. His wife, Lois Evans, they were all about legacy. She just passed away December 30th. And I was watching a video where she talked about, her and her 2 daughters, they were talking about legacy. And she talked about how one of the daughters were talking about how she's always kept herself together. Like, you would never see her in sweats and stuff like that, looking crazy no matter where she went. And I was like, that's a light bulb moment. And so the girl said, one of the, Priscilla Shire, she's the one that's in War Room, if you watch movies like that. She said that's the reason she keeps up her appearance, because she saw her mom do that. And then her mom said that she saw her mom and her grandma do that. So I was like, I know, when I was watching it last night. Then for my husband to say something to me this morning, I'm like, okay. So I got to put a little effort into my appearance. And, it doesn't matter if I'm pregnant, how I feel, like, I can keep myself together. And he was saying that too, because yesterday we were out car shopping, and he was like, people will work better with you when you're dressed better, when you look better, like they'll treat you differently. And I had on sweats and a jacket and a t-shirt and socks and flip-flops, and I wish he would say something to me before we leave the house, instead of waiting until the next day and saying, people will just dress better when we go out, please. I'm like, that's a request from my husband. I can't really knock what he's asking me to do because he's my husband and I want to, respect him, and if he wants me to look better. But he also knows that your girl can get herself together. But we are in the last phases of preparing for this baby, and we have so much to do that, you know, only the grace of God and our faith in him and trust and belief in him can get us through these next 2 months, I'll say. With a baby, and we need to move, and we're shopping for a car, and we're just trusting God for a lot of things. And while I was on my way home this morning from dropping the kids off to school, in my mind, what I heard, it was like, Crystal, if you have faith, what does faith look like? That's a word for y'all now. If you have faith, what does it look like? Because for my husband to say something about my appearance, and then I watched, Lois Evans and her daughters last night, and they talked about appearance and being a woman and a mom. What does that look like? So God has been working on me about my faith and trusting in him and being bold and, asking him for things. And so my husband just don't realize he sparked a whole ministry this morning. And that's what I heard. It was like, Crystal, if you have faith, what does it look like? Because faith doesn't look like what you walking around looking like right now. And when I tell y'all sloppy, so that applies to everything. That applies to every single thing that you do in excellence. It doesn't matter what you're going through, you don't let that show. Like we think about Jesus and his ministry, like Jesus knew what his ending was, but he also knew that that was his call. Did he slack? Did he get sloppy? Did he say, woe is me, like I'm finna die for all these people in the world? No, he didn't. Faith looked like Jesus. And Jesus was excellent with what he did. He didn't slack. He didn't, so it's a whole sermon. That's a whole nother, video. But appearance is everything, and I know, a couple weeks ago, as I was doing my devotion, that's also what I heard is like, how you do one thing is how you'll do all things, and that's pretty much how I live my life. So God is really working on me about my faith, and if I have faith in what I'm doing, what he's called me to do, what I'm trusting and believing him for, even the desires for my family, what does that look like? First of all, it's my faith, but what does my faith look like? Like through my actions, how I carry myself, so, we have a lot of women out there that'll knock other women that like to stay dressed up, that like to keep makeup on, that like to look good all the time, no matter where they go. They'll say, "Ooh, she doing too much. Ooh, why she this?" And like, but that's what faith looks like. Like, that's what it looks like. They believe in who they are. They love themselves. And if they want to put on some makeup and dress all the way up and down, that's who they believe that they are. That's what faith looks like. So, appearance, y'all. appearance. I think this is something that's very important for moms and wives, because when we get married and when we become moms, we tend to lose ourselves first, and we put our energy and our focus and our everything into everything else and everyone else in our house, and then we fall apart. We think we're losing our minds. We get depressed. We deal with anxiety. We worry. We have fear, and we don't even believe in who we are as a person. Like, we forget the fact that God created us to do something on this earth, not just be a wife and a mom. That's just a part of it. That's titles that we will already hold before we were even conceived as a woman. Wife and mom is already a part of us. But the call that we have, we let it all go when that is the most important thing that we should hold on to when we become a mom and when we become a wife, because God already knew that our call involves who we marry and who, and our children. God already knows it all. So if we let that go, how does that impact the trajectory of our lives as a mom and a wife? If we let our calling go, if we let our purpose go, if we let our appearance go. Because when you think about it, appearance is who God created us to be. So who are you appearing to be? Who are you showing yourself to be to the world? Is it the appearance that God had already written out for you, drew out for you, or is it the appearance that you decided to show to the world? Because no matter what, we reveal ourselves to the world, our family, our marriage, our children, our boss, our whoever, we reveal ourselves either in the way that God wants us to appear to be, or either who we think we appear to be. So anyway, I'm done rambling before I start preaching. But appearance is definitely something I'm gonna work on for 2020. And it's not for my husband, it's not for my kids, it's the mere fact that if I trust God, I believe God, I have faith, my circumstances and all that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. It doesn't matter how tough it gets. It doesn't matter. Our appearance is everything. If we say we love God, if we say we believe in Him, if we believe in the call, we will carry ourselves according to what we believe. So I'm out, y'all. Remember to glow. Remember to affirm yourself. Remember to do what makes you happy while I'm short of breath, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So until next time, you guys, go follow me on Crystal Clayton Glows, Crystal Clayton _glows on Instagram. Let me know what you think in the comments about what I said. I'm sure that I know this got good at the end, but yeah, the whole ministry going on. This is God working on me and dealing with me, right? That's all. So I just like to share it with y'all because I know there's someone out there that can totally relate to what I'm going through right now. And if I have something to share, I just want to share it with you guys. So